مصر كبرت وخلتنا نفتخر أكتر ببلادنا، دي حبيبتنا وصاحبتنا، مصر دي أم الدنيا. الله عليكي يا بلادي، بقيتي أحلى من الماضي، ما كانش كلامنا عالفاضي، هتبقي يوم قد الدنيا. أيوة انت اللي بنيها بكل ما فيها حاميها، ربي يخليك ليها وتعيش وتكبرها. أيوة انت اللي حبيبها ولا لحظة كنت سايبها، دايما بتزيد خيرها وبإيديك هتعمرها. هنا الجمهورية الجديدة، حلمك هيبقى حقيقة، على ايدك الأمينة حققت الوعد لينا. هتعيش يا مصر حرة، هتعيش ألف مرة، أجمل عروسة حلوة، عايشين الفرحة بيكي.
هنا الجمهورية الجديدة. النهاردة هنعمل مقارنة ما بين السوق العقاري المصري والسوق العقاري التركي. رحبوا معايا بضيفنا العزيز مسيو صالح مطلو، سفير تركيا بمصر. مسيو صالح، مساء الخير.
مساء الخير.
سعيدة جدا بلقائنا.
شكرا جزيلا.
في البداية عايزين نتكلم عن السوق العقاري المصري. حضرتك شايف السوق العقاري المصري وتطويره في آخر كام سنة؟
Progress in the infrastructure development, and second is in the superstructure, meaning houses, business centers, and new cities like Alamein and others, new administrative capital. So with this, I think that Egypt has seen explosion of new housing and new business spaces and new cities. So I can see that many Egyptian people have now many second homes, summer homes, Saifia, in Al Gouna, in Ain Sukna, in Alamein. So there is an explosion. This actually brought, as President Sisi several times indicated, a lot of capacity to the Egyptian contracting companies. Egyptian contracting companies has gained skill and know-how in producing high quality housing and infrastructure.
وشايف كل العوامل دي قدرت تجذب مستثمرين أجانب وبالأخص مستثمرين أتراك؟
This development, both in infrastructure and housing and new cities, makes Egypt in general overall extremely attractive, because now the road network is complete. Many ports have been built, especially Suez Canal Economic Zone. Many ports, Alexandria, Port Said, have been expanded, Arish, and there is an ongoing upgrade to the railway network. So this has an overall positive impact on attracting foreign investment. On the other hand, we will see more foreigners probably buying, maybe including Turks, as a second home, because what Egypt offers in terms of second home or housing investment for individuals is that it's especially the winter time is very pleasant. While Turkey sees like -5 degrees, 10 degrees, if you go to Sharm el-Sheikh and if you go to Ain Sukna or Hurghada, the weather is extremely pleasant for the retirees. And then, we have many retired people, population. So this is the overall picture as far as I could see.
احنا في برنامج الجمهورية الجديدة بقالنا 5 سنين بنتكلم عن الاستثمار العقاري في السوق العقاري المصري. السيزون ده بنتكلم عن مقارنة ما بين الاستثمار العقاري في السوق العقاري المصري وفي الأسواق العالمية الأخرى، سواء السوق العقاري التركي، الإماراتي، السعودي، الكويتي. بنعمل زي مقارنة، اعمل لي مقارنة ما بين السوق العقاري المصري والسوق العقاري التركي، وأنهي فيهم جاذب للاستثمار أكتر والعائد منه أكتر.
Bence çok önemli bir soru. I think this is a very important question
what we have experienced is that as you facilitate the purchase of the apartments and homes, the foreigners show more interest. For example, that facility requires, of course, entry facility to country, visa facility. And second is whether by buying home, a foreigner can automatically or almost automatically can acquire residence permit. This is, for example, what we are doing for sale of homes under a certain limit, under I think $200,000. If you buy a home in Turkey under $200,000, so you are almost entitled to have a residence permit. This is what Greece also does. I know that many Egyptians not only buy home properties in Turkey, but they buy also in Greece. Why? Some Turks buy in Greece because they grant residence permits. So that is a minimum requirement that the foreigners who buy homes in Egypt should have long-term guaranteed residence permit. This is the most important issue for them. There is a promotion of the Turkish property market. So the Turkish properties are being promoted in the Gulf countries, in Europe, in other countries, in the northeast in Europe, and in our southern neighborhood and eastern neighborhood. That is one thing. Second is that once a foreigner decides to buy a property, they are granted easily visa and then residence permit, and then for above a certain amount, they are granted nationality, citizenship. So in Greece, for example, they grant, I think it's above, when you buy a property above 800,000 euros, they grant residence permit. So this is a great incentive for people to buy. Many Egyptian people I know buy properties in Greece, and some Turkish people also do. Egypt offers security, stability, a lot of great infrastructure, great cultured people, great scenery, but these facilities make a difference. Entry facilities, residence permit facilities, and in some cases maybe granting citizenship. So as the things stand now, I think that when you look at the numbers, probably you will draw a conclusion that Turkish property market and the Greek property markets, maybe Spanish Greek property markets, looks more attractive.
ومصر دلوقتي بتعمل كده، ممكن تدي إقامة لو حد مثلا أجنبي اشترى عندها عقار عشان تسهل، وده كان من تعديلات قانون الاستثمار، إن إحنا عايزين نجذب مستثمرين أكتر.
Promotion of property outside the country is key. You need to promote your tourism, your capacity, your industry, your skill, your talent, your people, your beauties. But at the same time, what you have to sell, you have to promote. That's one thing. Secondly, whether there are facilities and incentives, that's entry facilities, residence permit facilities is the key. That's what Greece is doing. So Turkey is also doing the same, and more. Turkey is doing more. So what I say is that if a homeowner, once a homeowner buys a property, whether he's entitled a long-term residence permit is the key, like 5 years. That's what I
عايشين الفرحة بيكي.
شايف ان مصر محتاجة تعرف نفسها اكتر وتسوق لمشاريعها اكتر وتسوق للمدن الجديدة زي العاصمة والعلمين والجلالة للدول الخارجية سواء دول الخليج او اوروبا؟
Of course. For example, millions of British people live in Spain. Millions of Americans and British people live in France. Hundreds of thousands of Russian people or German people or British people live in Antalya, Bodrum. So these are retirees or digital nomads or people who can work remotely. So Egypt, of course, you can live in Egypt in Ain Sukna, in Al Ghuna, in Sharm el-Sheikh, in Hurghada, in Alamein. 12 months, the weather is either mild or pleasant. throughout the months, except 1 or 2 months could be hot in Sharm el-Sheikh. So this is great for digital nomads, those people who can work electronically, remotely, and for the retirees, especially for the retirees. I'm pretty sure that the prices of the properties and the quality of the properties in those places are competitive, better than those in Spain or Italy. I'm pretty sure. What I'm saying is that you have to facilitate, you have to promote. And promotion is the key. As I said, Egypt has the security and stability, and the beauty, and the culture. Everything is there. Promotion and facility are the key.
حابين جدا نزور تركيا وناخد جولة في السوق العقاري التركي، وحضرتك تصحبنا بجولة تعريفية أكتر عن تركيا وعن الاستثمار العقاري في تركيا وفي المدن الجاذبة للاستثمار في تركيا.
Yes, the property sector in Turkey is doing well. Last year, overall, around 1.5 million homes were sold. 500,000 of them were new homes and 1 million second-hand homes. And this is usually a good number. When you look at the statistics, the trend shows that last year was recorded as a good number. Among these home buyers, around 24,000 of them were foreigners. So 24,000 foreigners bought home in Turkey last year. This is not the best number. In fact, when you compare to 2023 and the previous years, there is a slight decline. And the best year was, I think, 2022, and it was like 67,000 homes were sold to the foreigners. So, and 2024 was not the best year. Among the nationalities of foreigners who buy, Russians come first last year, and Iranians come second, and also Ukrainians, Iraqis, Egyptians, Germans, many other nationalities. So, I mean, but in the end, 2024 was okay, but not the best year. Last year also, when you look at the cities that are popular for home buying, Istanbul comes to first, then Antalya, then Ankara, Bursa, Yalova, Izmir. These cities are also popular, but Istanbul comes first.
تركيا معروفة جدا بالصناعة. أي حد رايح حتى زيارة من أجل السياحة لازم يكون ليه كده وقت يستمتع بيه في الشوبينج. الصناعة يعني أنتوا شاطرين جدا في الصناعة. كلمني عن حجم مجال الصناعة في تركيا وبيمثل قد إيه من اقتصاد البلد.
Industrialization in Turkey has been completed, and the quality, we have achieved a worldwide quality by competing with the European Union countries. So therefore, industry is now the most important sector in our GDP, together with the services sector. And in our exports, industrial goods now constitute overwhelming majority of the goods that we export. When you look Turkey, you go back to 1970s and even 80s, most of the goods that we exported were agricultural goods. But now agriculture constitute maybe 1 or 2% or maximum 5%. Overwhelming majority is industrial goods. And we sell 50% of our exports to more than 50% to European Union countries. So that shows the quality and competitiveness of our goods. Of course, there are pressures of competition, as usual, from China, from Southeastern countries, but it's still, with this quality, undisputed quality, it is extremely competitive. So industrial, and now there is maybe some transformation in Turkish industry because labor-intensive sectors face even stronger competition globally. So therefore, in Turkey, as the income levels, as the social state has been strengthened, income levels rose, the minimum wage has also increased. So labor became very scarce. So labor-intensive sectors such as agriculture, construction, textile, or domestic services face difficulties in terms of finding qualified and enough number of labor. So the industry inevitably now faces this choice of transforming itself to more machine-intensive, more productive subsectors. So therefore, maybe this, as a result of this transformation, some of the subsectors, such as some part of the textile sector, will be shifting towards other countries, but gradually, where skilled and then low-cost labor is abundant, together with other advantages, such as Egypt.
اتكلمنا عن حجم الصادرات اللي بتصدروها لمصر.
Last year, 2024, the Turkish-Egyptian trade volume has registered a record number. So we reached $8.5 billion of trade volume. It's almost equal, 4.20 from Turkey to Egypt and 4.400 billion from Egypt to Turkey. So it's an almost perfect balance of trade between the two countries. And this year we also expect a similar number, but it is going in the right direction. We will see how we will record this year. But as I said, 2024 was the best year in the history of trade between the two countries.
هل تركيا بتفكر تعمل منطقة صناعية في مصر تعزز التعامل وتوطد العلاقة أكتر؟
Free zones, we have of course extensive free zone networks, but more important than that, we have an extensive network of industrial zone, organized industrial zones, and then small and medium-sized industrial zones. This has actually created for Turkish industry a space, literally, a complete package for investing and reinvesting and growing. So that is, according to United Nations Industrial Development Organization, Turkey is one of the leading countries in creating industrial zones for the SMEs, small and medium-sized enterprises. As you know, in many countries, in all the countries, including Japan and Korea, small and medium-sized enterprises actually are the backbone of industrialization. So therefore, that is actually one of the secrets of Turkey's industrial development.
ترامب رئيس أمريكا كل يوم بيصدر قرارات بتأثر على الاقتصاد العالمي. إزاي تركيا بتتعامل مع القرارات دي؟
Yeah, we are following the decisions of the Trump administration. For now, according to what has been transpired, Turkey was subject to 10%. So therefore, we are following and some of the additional customs duties have been lifted for 90 days. There is an ongoing, I think, contact and negotiation with China, which is extremely important partner for United States. And for now, I don't want to go into the detail of what impact it will bring. And since the decisions are changing every single day, but in the end, our trade with the United States is balanced. And bilaterally speaking, we don't expect much impact on Turkey. So it's a healthy trade with the United States. When we look at Egypt, Egypt is extremely important for the United States. There is the special arrangement of qualified industrial zones, which Turkish investors in Egypt also benefit greatly. So therefore, I don't expect a negative impact neither on Turkey nor in Egypt of President Trump's trade and tariff policies. If there will be any, it could only be positive. That's my hope and wish.
هل ممكن نشهد تعاون أو استثمار ما بين تركيا ومصر؟
I think it's possible. For example, our companies have built Limak and TAV, built number 2 and number 3 terminals of the Cairo International Airport. So our companies are extremely specialized and good in providing contracting services and management services long-term in international airports. especially in public-private partnership model, and also in build, operate, and transfer model. So, for example, if there is going to be an exclusive international airport, I'm sure that Turkish companies such as Limak and TAV and others will show interest in taking over or bidding for construction and operation of that international airport. And industrial zone there, and I'm expecting that is in the plan. Our Turkish company, Polaris Industrial Parks, will be very eager to consider the possibility of establishing the industrial park there. So that's another area they will be, and they have a great working relationship with Egyptian authorities. And for example, some of the hotels that will be built there. Rixos is run by a Turkish company, so Rixos is expanding its operations throughout Egypt. And if there are going to be some hotel management opportunities, I'm sure that they will be showing lots of interest. It's extremely important that, when a company or a country builds, like UAE builds a city, it doesn't only build a structure. It builds an ecosystem, soft and hard parts together.
هتعيشي يا مصر حرة، هتعيشي ألف مرة، أجمل عروسة حلوة، عايشين الفرحة بيكي. هتعيشي يا مصر حرة، هتعيشي ألف مرة، أجمل عروسة حلوة، عايشين الفرحة بيكي.
خلينا ننتقل في حوارنا من الحياة المهنية للحياة الشخصية. ايه اكتر أكلة بتحبها في مصر؟
I always say this and I always miss it. I love food, and I love the Egyptian bread, Aish al-Baladi. My favorite, and then if I can have full Iskandariya, and that type of full.
فول اسكندراني.
Yes, if I can eat it every single day for morning and evening, just like an Egyptian. So this is also kosheri. I ate kosheri and kosheri. It is really like the Egyptian food, like full and kosheri. I noticed that it is delicious, but also it's affordable, and everybody eats. For example, poor eats full, rich eat full, educated doctor eat full, worker eat full. So this is something that equalizes the whole Egyptian people. So, and then if you buy the right aish warm, it is delicious. I really, this morning in breakfast I ate it. So therefore many other Egyptian, pigeon is also nice. I used to eat a lot of pigeon. When I was a kid, I was hunting pigeons and eating. I was a kid. So therefore I'm used to it, but the Egyptians love it. And then whenever I find an opportunity, I do also have a pigeon, as someone who ate pigeon when in the childhood. So there are many things that I enjoy every day. I'm used to it, and I don't discriminate anymore. And I'm eating it every single day.
مسيو صالح، ممكن يسمع أم كلثوم أو عبد الحليم أغنية كده؟
أم كلثوم, when I came to Egypt, it was a surprise for me to find out that Egyptians usually don't know that Kulthum is in Turkey extremely popular. And when you say Kulthum, everybody knows Kulthum and appreciate Kulthum. So therefore, of course, Kulthum, she's a legend. She's the brightest star of the music of the East in the world. Everybody knows Kulthum worldwide. She's a towering artist. Her personality was very dominating, very dominating personality. And so she was like a miracle. I mean, she belongs for me to the generation of great personalities and artists in Egypt, such as Omar Sharif, such as Naguib Mahfouz. These generations of great Egyptian personalities actually came out in the 1940s, 50s, and they're gone. Unfortunately, I have not met them. I didn't have the chance to listen to her in person or met Ömer Sharif or got to know Naguib Mahfouz. Naguib Mahfouz also Turkey, all his works are translated into Turkish, so they are very well known. Something that Egyptian people also need to know that starting in 1950s, because of the Cairo radio's broadcast was so strong, the signals was reaching Turkey, Anatolia, Adana, Mersin, Urfa. And then because of this influence, people also started listening to Gülsüm through Cairo radio and Muhammad Abdul Wahhab's works. So in 1960s and 70s, a new music genre was born in Turkey. We called it arabesque. So that later became mainstream music. So that music genre was influenced greatly by Gülsüm and Abdul Wahhab. So we have produced from great singers, great musicians, great composers in the arabesque genre from the cities of Adana, Urfa, who were very close to Egypt at that time because Cairo radio signals were able to reach those areas. So therefore, Gülsüm and then Egyptian music has a special place and very well known in Turkey and appreciated. And of course, now I don't want to do injustice to present Egyptian singers and composers. Abu Adib is a great singer, and in the tradition of Gülsüm, you have, of course, Amel Mahir, and I appreciate her singing. Yeah, كويس, yeah. When I arrived here in 2022, in June, it was my first month, so I didn't go around much and I didn't travel much. So I was watching on TV the Alamein Festival, and in 2022 she appeared in Alamein Festival, and I liked her singing.
بقالك كم سنة عايش في مصر؟
It's as if I've been here throughout my life, but you know, in calendar terms, 2.5 years.
زوجة حضرتك وأولاد حضرتك عايشين هنا في مصر؟
Yes, they live with me. They will never leave me alone, even if I go to the furthest, remotest corner of the world. They will always be with me. But of course, they were very happy to accompany me in Egypt from the first year. And my son, Emir, his name is Emir, he's going to the French school, lycée in Maadi. They live with me happily, and they're now in Istanbul, and they're coming, inshallah, in a few days. Sure. And my wife, Ayşen Hanım, is taking care of the residence. This is our home. So her duty, pleasant duty, is take care of the home and all this compound. And my duty is just enjoy home, which she prepares.
كلمنا عن السياحة في تركيا.
Turkish tourism is a success story. And you have to look at why it has become a success story. Starting in 1980s, Prime Minister Turgut Özal, and then he became president. He started supporting tourism. Without state support, of course, you cannot achieve. So the first thing he did was supporting, granting land and supporting the building of the hotels. So hotels is the key. I think now Egypt is going in the right direction and making a lot of progress in getting more and more tourists. And then there has been several statements indicating the importance of the hotel space in Egypt. So therefore, now in Turkey there is no shortage of hotel space. But one thing we did was also we heavily emphasized on promotion. I remember when I was a child, we always curious about visiting United Kingdom because they were so good in promoting their own country, the cities, the buildings, the historical palaces, the music, the culture, the art. So everybody wants to see all that because this is promotion. Promotion is creating an attractive image of a country, not only the actual things that you have, the food or the hotel, but promotion, making people interested to go there, making them curious. And then raising the image of your country, not the nature, services, shopping and everything. So that's what Turkey has achieved. And then now I think our tourist numbers last year reached 60 million. So our infrastructure is complete, the hotels are complete, and it's a success story. And we will see, we have seen in both tourism and culture issues a lot of contacts between Turkey and Egypt. And Egypt has taken great steps in promoting Turkish tourism. In 2023, April, Egypt has started facilitating the visa practice toward the Turkish nationals, which actually in the end helped more and more tourists coming and visiting Egypt destinations such as Sharm el-Sheikh, Cairo, Hurghada, more and more number. And then last year, I think that Minister of Tourism of Egypt has stated that 230,000 Turkish tourists visited Egypt last year. And it has been like 70% increase compared to 2023. So the Turkish people love to visit Sharm el-Sheikh and Hurghada. We have direct flights there. And now our second government-owned aviation company, AnadoluJet, AJet, is starting Ankara-Cairo direct flights. And I hope that this will also be a contribution towards tourism both ways, but especially the retired people and students, because Ankara and the cities around Ankara are known for a lot of retired people and then student population.
هل في خطة مستقبلية لتعزيز تبادل السياحة ما بين تركيا ومصر؟
Both sides are taking steps towards that direction, and then our authorities and Minister of Culture and Tourism of Turkey and Minister of Tourism and Antiquities of Egypt have frequent contacts at every level, and they are keen on attracting more tourists from each other. I think that there is no action plan, but there is the will and strategy on both sides bilaterally. And I think that once we understand in which areas, in which sectors we can improve, there will be much more action and movement towards the right direction. From what I see, we need to promote cultural tourism to Cairo. The retired people, the students, are very interested to see many cultural spaces, and everybody wants to see the pyramids, that's for sure. Now, Grand Egyptian Museum is opening. That's a great, of course, in July there will be a grand opening of Grand Egyptian Museum. All the Mamluk mosques and Mehmet Ali Pasha Mosque, all the Ottoman mosques, Coptic Cairo, Islamic Cairo, I mean, for any person who is interested in culture, even 1 year is not enough. 10 visits to Cairo is not enough. So tonight I'm going to be hosting a high-level delegation from Turkey who's been touring Cairo the last 2 days. Today they are in the Citadel, in the Mehmet Ali Pasha Mosque, and they are going to go today also to Imam Shafi Mosque. They told me that we have to come back again. It's impossible to finish, so we have to come back again. So there is, everybody is interested. So these promotion and then welcoming attitude, and then from what I see, maybe a bit lower cost hotel space in Cairo will be extremely helpful.
أنا سعيدة جدا بلقائنا جدا، وكان لقاء مثمر. سعيدة إن احنا عندنا علاقات طويلة وتاريخ عظيم ما بين تركيا ومصر. بشكر حضرتك جدا على الاستضافة، وسعيدة جدا بلقائنا.
أنا سعيدة جدا، شكرا جزيلا، فرصة سعيدة.
أنا أسعد. مشاهدينا الكرام، وعدتكم السيزون ده يبقى مختلف. هنشوف الجمهورية الجديدة بعيون الآخرين، بعيون العالم كله. حبيت إن أنا أتكلم مع مسيو صالح سفير تركيا في مصر عن رؤية تركيا لمصر والعلاقات ما بين مصر وتركيا. تعالوا بينا أخدكم جولة في تركيا عشان نشوف حجم الاستثمار العقاري في تركيا.
خلتنا نفتخر اكتر ببلادنا دي حبيبتنا وصاحبتنا. مصر دي ام الدنيا، الله عليكي يا بلادي، بقيتي احلى من الماضي. ما كانش كلامنا عالفاضي، هتبقي يوم قد الدنيا. أيوة انت اللي بنيها بكل ما فيها حاميها، ربي يخليك ليها وتعيش وتكبرها. أيوة انت اللي حبيبها ولا لحظة كنت سايبها، دايما بتزيد خيرها وبإيديك هتعمرها.